in a derogatory manner. I'm calling them children because I'm a mother of Genz. Mr. Speaker, the events that happened yesterday in this country are historic, not because the young people managed to break in and come to Parliament. They are historic because it was a large statement about how Parliament has failed. And the sooner we understand that, the better. Mr. Speaker, our sense of importance is so inflated as members of Parliament that we don't even get the point. Mr. Speaker, we need to calm down and remember, and I've said here more than 4 times, that we must remember we are messengers of the people. We are not lords of the people. Mr. Speaker, yesterday was the moment to make every member of Parliament to reflect and remember that we are here to represent. We are not here about ourselves, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Genz and the other young people who are on the streets form over 75% of the population of Kenya. So we need to listen to them, whether we like it or not. And if we don't like it, we will actually be driven out of these houses. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, my view is we cannot run away. We need to be here to discuss the issues. Mr. Speaker, we might want to suggest that we focus on different issues rather than what we have on order paper, but we use the 2 weeks to discuss pertinent issues on what the Genz have raised in their concerns. Mr. Speaker, can I request that those on the side who are speaking loudly sit down and listen, or go out and speak out there? It is a sign of disrespect for this session. Mr. Speaker, as I had said, the young people have given us enough notice about the demonstrations. They went on the streets with twigs, Mr. Speaker. And they came all the way and reached here. I was in this compound, Mr. Speaker. I was among the few MPs who are trying to plead with the security members to allow us to see whether we can speak to them. But they started shooting. And as they started shooting, they actually killed a few people. A few of those young people. After a while, they then allowed, and I believe that was deliberate, to allow the Genz into the compound in order to say we shot them dead because they had come to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this Parliament is not bigger than the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, none of us here is bigger than the people of Kenya. And I want to ask that the members of Parliament humble themselves. I want to ask that members of Parliament listen to what people are saying. We have mothers on the streets, if you're listening, who are actually pleading with the president and pleading with us to listen to them. What does it cost for us to listen to them? I feel even those who used ambulances were abusing our position as members of Parliament. Ambulances should have been carrying those who are sick, not members of Parliament trying to get them here. We need to smell the coffee, Mr. Speaker. What we need to do is to schedule special sessions to invite the CS Kindiki of Internal Security to find out why they used bullets on young people. We need to summon CS for Defense, Aden Duale, if at all that Gazette notice he issued, if he actually issued it. Because this Parliament no longer cares about the Constitution of Kenya. As Senator Omogeni has said, in fact, we should be instructing the Speaker to write an advisory to the President not to assent to the finance bill because it breached the Constitution. Through the finance bill, they have amended laws that affect counties. Therefore, the finance bill should have come to the Senate. This House should be sitting, instructing lawyers to go to court and stop the finance bill. We cannot do that if we take a break. This Senate should be sitting to find out how best can we reach out to the Genzs to speak with them, Mr. Speaker. They gave a notice for Thursday, assuming they're coming on Thursday. This House should be present to say, can we have the Thursday demonstrations differently done so that we are here to receive them and they come peacefully. We should not be running away. This House should be sitting to find out how many of us can be sent to represent the Senate in the different funerals of the children who have died. They should not be running away from this. Mr. Speaker, I therefore suggest respectfully that we consider reorganizing the order of the House to discuss these pertinent issues that have been raised by these children. One of each is to try and look at the budget that the Treasury submitted to the Treasury. These children have looked at this budget and they are telling us you cannot be overtaxing our parents when you are putting monies into different places. Why are we as Parliament not willing to look at the budget items in order to find out what these children are telling us? Mr. Speaker, the Gen Zs are not stupid. They are not. The Gen Zs are trying to call us to order as members of Parliament. I think we have an inflated sense of importance that we've even forgotten who we are. We need to calm down and remember we are messengers of the people. I am therefore suggesting that the remainder of the members who are speaking, please do not accept for us to go on session. Let us get back and let us sit, let us summon the necessary people we need to summon in order to discuss the issues that happened yesterday. Mr. Speaker, as I finalize, I want to empathize with all the families that have lost their loved ones. And I want to ask, as members of Parliament, let us find out who they are, let us represent ourselves and actually be humble enough to mourn with those families. I also want to ask CS Kindiki that all the young people you have instructed to be abducted to actually be released. Mr. Speaker, more than 10 young people have been abducted simply because they are bloggers. That is abuse of office. That is a violation of the right of expression. And we are asking that this must stop now. We must be a country that respects the rule of law.
Senator Kathy,
Honorable Speaker, I have captured the Honorable Kadreni Muma say that Kindiki has instructed people to abduct bloggers. I don't know whether she has that evidence that she can tell before this House that Kindiki instructed people to abduct bloggers. Is there any evidence to that effect, Honorable Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, I want to withdraw what I've said and say that the CS for internal security should bring to this House information on who has abducted young bloggers who are simply expressing themselves. It is his responsibility, he cannot run away from it. If he cannot do that, he should resign and let somebody else take responsibility. Mr. Speaker, we cannot kill our children and think we will be okay. We cannot use so much force and expect we will go into our houses and sleep. I personally cannot sleep. I cannot sleep from what I watched here yesterday outside of the Parliament, where we were pleading but they were going on with the guns and those kids only had twigs. The storms came because the bullets were coming. The storms came because the canisters were coming every minute. Those kids were unarmed. Mr. Speaker, I saw a clip where one police officer is contemplating resigning because his brother was killed by another police officer. I want to tell our police officers I know your job is difficult, but remember your Kenyans. Remember you also have children. Do not allow anybody to use you to break the law. Using live bullet on an armed person is breaking the law. We need to call ourselves to order as leaders. Finally, I'm pleading with the president. Listening is not cowardice. Mr. President, listening is not cowardice. I can assure you the finance bill is not bigger than the people of Kenya. That finance bill is unconstitutional because it has phrases or it has clauses that should have come to the Senate. If your people have not told you that, please listen to us. Retreat, not even because of the Senate, retreat because of these young people. Call them and also explain boldly how you can justify the budget lines that the Treasury has actually cleared in the National Assembly. And I would want to say shame on the National Assembly for passing a budget that has budget items that are embarrassing for the nation. And that both sides of the aisle actually passed the budget. They were wrong on that. And listen to the people of Kenya. I oppose, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wakili.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to thank you for giving me this moment to share